all. Just waiting for Tonia to join us. She's meant to be the host, and I'm doing the hosting, which is a little uncomfortable. I hope you're all well, and I hope you're all got lots and lots of questions for me today. I've got I'm watching Tonia here on the screen getting herself together. We're having a lot of internet problems. I don't know about anyone else out there, but it feels like the whole technology thing's causing grief. It's just making it really difficult for us to get these things happening smoothly at the moment, because I know Tonia's in a rural-ish area, and we're not rural, but we're certainly not in a big city here, so we're having a bit of trouble getting this internet deal to work. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're having a great day, and that you've got a lot of questions, because there's a lot of time to have answers given. I'm going to be chatting about the animals. I'm going to be chatting about maybe the conference again, maybe a little bit about that. And if you have any questions at all about publishing, you know where to find us. G'day, Carmen. How are you? Just know that we're here to answer your questions, and Tonia will be with us in a second, hopefully. I'm hoping that she'll turn up. Hi, Maria. So as you can see, I'm just waiting to let some people, letting people join us before I start anything, before I start chatting. Hi, Karen. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so I just thought, if you are, just see what Tonia has to say. I think she's joining us in a sec. So just if you've had any dreams lately about animals, or if you've had any encounters you'd like me to explain, anything like that, this is the golden opportunity to share those encounters or those questions. Hi, Marianne. So just, yeah, if you have anything like that, just let us know by posting a question there, and Tonia will snavel it and share it with me so I can chat about it. But anyway, here she is, our favourite.
I'm back.
The mostess. Oh, hi, Tonia. That was.
Oh my goodness.
That's usually me.
Just
that's usually me.
I think you go to record it. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So
I need everyone to let me know if I'm
So it's still we just a little bit still crackly there, but we'll be fine. We'll work through it. We'll get through it. Yeah, so hi Jacinta. So if you've got any questions, anyone, let us know. I was just saying, Tonia, that we're going to chat about the animals, of course, but also if there's any questions about publishing or the conference, even just let us know. But I'm here to chat about animals and the messages you might have been receiving in your dreams. If you have any unusual encounters. Hi, Diane. Oh, here we go. So Jacinta saying she had a dream about a boar. Is there anything like that? If you have dreams, you've had encounters, and you just would like to have those encounters explained, I'm more than happy to help. So, Jacinta, you've had a wild boar. So I'm assuming when you say a wild boar, because you're an Aussie, that you might be talking about a wild pig in Australia, or maybe it is talking about a European boar. Either way, I know it sounds weird, but the boar in my world is a symbol of the warrior, not the worrier, the warrior. So if you've dreamt of the boar, it's probably because you are dealing with something that involves a little bit more, I'm not going to say muscle, but a little bit more oomph, because look, in my world, the pig is generically, the pig is a symbol of family. Pig is a symbol of the underworld. Pig is a symbol of abundance and prosperity. It can also mean a little bit of, not greed, but a little bit of overindulgence at times. That's pig generically. But when you start looking at the different aspects of pig, so the sow could be considered a totem, if you like, of the crone, or the woman in her crone phase. It can represent the grandmother energy. It can represent just dreams or the journey within. The boar the male can represent the very, very protective father. It can represent someone who is trying to make do of something that, you know, they can see potential, but they're not really sure how to bring that to fruition. And piglets can represent children in my world. So But you've got the boar, and I believe, and I'm going to go with the European boar just by my gut feeling, just into the wild boar. I don't know if you remember looking at any movies or seeing movies that had Roman centurions in them with their helmets on and their bristles. Well, often those bristles on their helmets were made from boar bristles because they were considered a ferocious warrior. They were seen as someone who would push through. Like the boar was an animal of strength and courage and would be able to push through pretty much anything but if it had to, eating its way through. So I just know that there may be a reason for you to really be delving deep into your masculine strength. Maybe it's about you fighting for something that you may have felt you've already lost that battle a little bit. It could be, but it's not. You haven't. It's about strength and resolve. So I just feel it's a symbol of moving forward and just knowing that this might be something you might need to fight for a little bit harder, but also understanding that you've got a lot more, resolve and strength and courage than what you're giving yourself credit for. I rambled a bit, but we've got some other wonderful people here chatting. What do you reckon, Tonia?
Well, I like Mary Ann's one here, the white-tailed deer and also blue jays.
And blue jays. Right, so you're obviously don't live in Australia because we don't have either of those creatures here. The white-tailed deer is one of the most ancient, oldest breed of deer on the planet. They've been around for a very long time. They've got a very primal energy to them because they remember the old times. When I think of the white-tailed deer, I'm reminded of a deer spirit that I was told this story a long time ago about a spirit. Her name was Deer Woman, and she lives in the forest, and her job is to avenge, if you like, the wrongs that are done against women. So I know in my heart that the white-tailed deer energy is wanting to protect you. It's wanting to guide you out of the woods. It's wanting to remind you of the joy that comes with dance and music and celebration, because that's what she loves. Deer Woman loves dancing and loves celebrating. But she's also aware that you may have had times in the recent past where you've felt your feminine aspects or your womanhood or your role as a woman or a mother was maybe taken advantage of, or maybe you've experienced some hardship or some challenges or some abuse of some kind in the past, and the deer is wanting you to stand up and hold your head up again, and maybe she'll help you find justice in all that. So the blue jay, as obvious as it is in lots of ways, birds are ruled by the air elements. They're not ruled by the emotions like deer is. We're ruled by our emotions because we're mammals. Birds are ruled by the air element, which suggests more about the mind and the mental self and how we process things. So blue jay, it is about communication, obviously, with the blue color of the throat chakra, just wanting you to chat and wanting you to get something off your chest. But it's also, don't get yourself too emotionally involved. If you're being guided and having advice given to you, just understand that it's not personal, and so it's about the mental self. It's about decision making. It's about the power of clarity and clear thinking. And so the deers that balance you out with the blue jay is about communication, expression, but not letting yourself get too emotionally invested or involved in the outcome. But I know it's going to be good because she's an avenger spirit, the Deer Woman. She's an avenger spirit, and she's there to protect you. So I hope that helps. Who's next? Tonia, I see we've got...
I've got one up there for you.
That's awesome. Okay, so is this a dream, Maria, about an octopus dying and then moving in water? Is that you that's dying, or is the octopus is dying? I'm a bit unsure. Just generically, though, the water, you said it's moving in the water. Obviously, octopus are aquatic creatures, but often when we have dreams like this, it can be a message from the fairy realm or the other realms or even the afterworld. The water, in lots of ancient cultures, bodies of water like lakes or oceans or beaches, they were often seen as a gateway between the worlds. So to have a creature like an octopus dying and then moving in the water, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about here. Yes, it was a dream. And was the octopus the one that was dying in the water, or was it you that was dying in the water? Could you just answer that for me as well? That'd be great. Because octopus, they're so many different aspects to octopus. They're a highly intelligent creature, like amazingly intelligent. They process and they can see what needs to be done. And there's so many stories and videos of octopus escaping their tank and helping themselves into the tank next door. The octopus was dying. Okay, so and into the tank next door to help themselves to the fish or the crustaceans that they got in their tank next door. They're making their way back into their own tank as if nothing happened. So they're very, very intelligent creatures, but in lots of ways, it's they're, to me, in my world, they speak about, like, they're there 1 minute and then they're startled and they inject this blue ink into the water, like this cloud of ink. And when the ink dissipates, they're gone. In my world, they remind me of people who promise to be there for you, but the slightest hint of challenge or difficulty or extra responsibility, they pack up and leave. Like they'll say something like, I'll just go down the milk bar to get some milk, or down the shops to get some milk, and then they never come back. So it could be that, you know, you're seeing the end of that. You're seeing the end of people who aren't reliable, who aren't loyal in, you know, in that terms of true friendship, or, you know, the end of being taken advantage of or being overlooked. But the water is about the emotions, and I do feel that there is also guidance happening for you from the other realms because of the fact that you said the octopus was dying but still moving. So I feel that there's processing there from another realm, using the water as a way of conducting its energy more freely into your consciousness. Anyway, that's my gut feeling on all that.
Sounds right. I don't know anything.
This is quite exciting. I'm enjoying all these readings. This is fantastic fun. I hope you didn't want me to chat about anything, so I'm just doing this.
No, so that's cool.
Okay, brilliant. So Jen, you have a squirrel hanging out for weeks and burying pieces of apples all over your deck planters, your pots of plants on your deck there. Okay, do you know what this animal's telling you to do? This animal is wanting you to prepare for the winter. I know it sounds weird, but imagine, because we've all gone through a similar experience lately with this whole COVID thing, and we've all been shut down or locked down at one point or another on varying levels of drama, like Tonia's experiences with the last couple of weeks where she lives compared to my experience as a polar opposite. But we've all been touched by this needing to prepare feeling, like this feeling of I need to use this time wisely. So imagine the little squirrel going out into the forest and collecting all the acorns, knowing that winter was coming, and it's burying those nuts. Like it's trying to carry all the nuts back to a tree. We'll have one in each side of its mouth like this, and then one, you know, in its teeth hanging out like the carrying three in its mouth, but it's also got some in its paws perhaps, and it's pushing another one with its foot to try and get all the acorns back to the tree in readiness for winter. So what often happens that they'll come across an extra one and they don't know how to carry it. They haven't got enough arms, they've got enough legs, so they bury it. And then because they've got a pretty bad memory, they often forget that they buried it. And in a couple of years' time, that tree starts to grow, and that squirrel, without realizing it, has inadvertently provided for the next 7 generations of squirrel. If you think about it like that, it's quite lovely. This squirrel is asking you to do the same. It's asking you to start preparing, to start investing or saving, putting money aside, putting things aside in preparation for something that's coming, like something wonderful that you know you want to do. It's giving you basically a saving plan, just to put some money aside, or pop it aside, so that you can access it when winter's past, when the conditions return that are more favourable to, you know, a sunny, summery life. But anyway, that's in a nutshell, it's asking you to prepare and save, because they're little hoarders after all. Crows and a darling magpie came right up to the singing us. Virginia Alexandra. How are you, Ginny? Love you heaps. Miss you heaps. Okay, so the crow talks about not pecking at your shadow anymore. It's saying stop looking at others and wondering why it is that they seem to have all the luck. The crow speaks about allowing yourself to tap into your own dreams and realizing that when you have a thought, it's like sending out an intention to the universe. It's like a prayer that becomes a spell. So crows and ravens both work hand in hand with that. Where you live, though, Ginny, I suspect that's more of a raven than it is a crow. So that's more about prayers being heard, prayers being answered. It still has the crow-like aspect because you referred to it as a crow. So it's about knowing that, you know, your prayers are being heard and your intentions are being heard, but you got to focus on yourself a little bit more instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing or thinking. And the magpie, of course, is about balance. And they're serenading you. That little magpie was serenading you because it wanted you to really hear and understand that, like we believe, you're beautiful and that you're very, very, very powerful and talented. And it's wanting you to find that balance point, that fine line between self-belief and self-worth, and the opposite to that, which could be a lack of confidence or a lack of that feeling that you're qualified. Does that make sense? So it's just a reminder. And again, both birds, so it's about your thinking processes, and not really, it's saying let's separate how we feel as opposed to what we really believe and know to be true, not believe to be true, what we know to be true, which is the mental self working in harmony. And it's wanting you to lift yourself up so you can see the bigger picture here of what it is you're manifesting and how close you are to realizing that dream. Anyway, we love you heaps, and we'll catch up soon, huh? This is so exciting, Tonia. I'm really enjoying this. All right, so Jill.
I'll pop up.
Okay, so Jill Crozier, you had a g'day to you as well. You had a kite flying over while you're with the horses. So I'm assuming you mean the bird, not the paper construction that kids make. A kite is a member of the hawk family, as you know, and it's about, depending on what sort it was. Do you know what sort of kite it might have been? Because there's lots of different sorts, but kite in general, they're messengers, if you like. They're messengers from the spirit world. So if you can imagine the eagle, it's the highest flying bird. It's the largest of our raptorial birds of prey. It is a very mighty and strong and powerful bird, and it can reach great heights, and it can see like what other birds up in the air and that same altitude cannot see. They've got this amazing vision. A lot of ancient cultures, or a lot of the earth-based cultures, revere the eagle as being like an ambassador, if you like, or an embodiment of spirit or the creator. So anything smaller than the eagle itself becomes like a messenger of creator. And so I like to see the hawks and kites and kestrels and hobbies and all the other different sorts of the smaller birds, of the raptorial birds of prey that belong to that family. I see them being like angels because they're the messengers of the creator. They're like the two I sees, if you like, the ones that fly closer to us. So it's making sense. It's watching you. It's observing. It's hearing your prayers, because when you're with your horses, that's a happy time for you, Jill. So it's a you know, it's you might have been thinking about the day ahead. You might have been thinking about the task at hand. You might have been thinking about what needs to be done around your farm. You might have been thinking about life or your family, and those thoughts are being carried to the creator spirit on the back of the kite. They're being carried there on the back of that little hawk. And horse is about personal power. It's about the journey within. It's about physical travel, sure, but it's also about the inner journey. And horse was one of the first animals that befriended man, or vice versa, but took the man out of the valley that he had grown up in and showed him the rest of the world that he wouldn't have been able to see otherwise. So you've got a horse that's prepared to carry you to other new places. So this talks about personal power, talks about travel, talks about the journey, physical as well as the inner journey, the emotional journey, the dreamlike journey. But you've also got the hawk that's able to see beyond what you can see. So I believe you're dreaming big. There's a sign coming that you are on the right track, and there'll probably be an opportunity, a promise or an opportunity, a message, a letter, an invitation. Something wonderful is coming your way to give you that that knowing that your prayers have been heard and that something wonderful is about to unfold for you, and you deserve it because you're freaking awesome. Who's next?
That's so cool. Next up, what Francis has a beautiful
Francis. Your rescue wood duck brings her 8 daughters up to you and to show you and for you to feed them. She was carried about in a dog's mouth when she was a hatchling. That is so wonderful. So wood duck in Australia is different to wood duck overseas, and like in America and places like that, they've got these beautiful little wood ducks that look very much like mandarin ducks. They're so decorative and beautiful. Ours technically aren't ducks. Ours are actually geese. They're a member of the goose family, and their true name is the maned goose. Goose is about travel. Goose is about adventure. Goose is about experiencing and traveling to new areas or new places and learning what you find there and bringing those stories back to share with the family. So you might be a traveler. You don't have to be a traveler, because the knowledge and wisdom sought by Goose can be found through stories that you read as well, like Mother Goose, who was responsible for the sharing of wonderful folk stories and fables and things when we were all kids. No one has ever laid claim to being Mother Goose, so we don't know where those stories actually originate from, but Mother Goose was responsible for penning them in the first place. So she can take you on adventures through the written word into stories out into the world to share knowledge with others, but it's also about you taking a time out for yourself too, to realize that you have a story that needs to be told perhaps, and the word history comes from his story, if you like, so you can look at that as being an opportunity for you to share your own stories. The fact that she was carried around a dog when she was a hatchling suggests to me that perhaps this is more family stuff, this is about emotional stuff, this is about the pack, the sharing of family stories, sharing of adventures with the family. Wonderful. I love that story. Awesome.
Beautiful.
And Liz, I can't read that properly. Big grey.
I was greeted by a big kangaroo. Wow.
So to give it that was just today. Wow, a big grey. So a big grey one, a big grey kangaroo. Very wonderful. So I think you're very fortunate to have grey kangaroos where you are. We have a lot of wallabies here, and I often hope that one day I'll see a grey kangaroo on our property, but we see them around, but just not very often. And certainly we haven't seen any on our property, which would make me very happy. Grey kangaroo is about abundance. It's about knowing that you won't go hungry. So even if you're feeling right now that your resources are a bit stretched, just know that you'll never go without. You'll always have enough, and you'll always have just enough money in your purse to get you through. Do you know what I mean? So that the grey kangaroo is a wonderful reminder of that, because her responsibility extended beyond her own family, and the early people used to hunt them and feed on them, and so that they knew that while the grey kangaroo was in abundance, so would they be, which I think is beautiful, because they're working hand in hand and they're working together to remain abundant together, and I think that's wonderful. So grey kangaroos cannot physically walk backwards, they can only walk forwards because their tail gets in the way, but that's also about moving forward and progression and never looking back with regret. So this is a golden opportunity for you to see that I'm okay, I'm actually doing really, really fine right now. Looking back is going to be helpful to see how far I've come, but I'm not going to look back with regret. That'd be the message. And it's also about knowing that finances doesn't necessarily make you rich. So having lots of money doesn't make you rich. The grey kangaroo is reminding you of just how abundant you are as a person, and that money could be coming, a windfall may be coming your way, but the less you focus on making or having money come to you and focus on the beauty that already surrounds you, gives the spirits, unblocks the pipe of neediness, and spirit can provide you with the things that you need because you're focusing on what you already have. Does that make sense? So it's also, of course, about the leap of faith and moving forward and leaps and bounds and all those sorts of things, but it's mainly about the abundance that we live within ourselves and how we can access that and bring that into the physical world with ease and beauty, really. Gosh, these are great messages, people. I'm just blown away by your animal experiences. I just love it. This is brilliant. So keep them coming. If you've got some, share them. I'm having the best time ever, and poor Tonia's sitting like a potato, not getting a chance to talk.
Let's go up with my internet.
Oh, look, we're fine. We're doing well. Am I breaking up at all? Anyone? Am I breaking up at all? Is the connection fine here, Tonia?
I think you seem all right, but you know how we're all right and we're not. So I think it's me that's breaking up, even though I've changed the internet.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Look, we're doing fine. We'll just keep soldiering on, and we'll chat with Hayley now about her black swans and the 5 little cygnets, little babies that she saw this morning. I think I saw your post, actually. That's really weird. I think I saw your post, and the black swans were coming up to from a lake into a little bit of a residential area, which is wonderful. So black swan is reminding you to okay. So black swan and white swan are different. White swan, they're emotionally more attached to their partners. They they become very much in love with their mate. The white swans, they're more connected, they're more bonded, whereas black swans, they know what it means to be a parent, but they're not quite so bonded with each other. They're a little bit freer with their love, we'll say. Anyway, so black swan, it's not saying that you are, so please don't take offense to that. That's not what I'm saying. But the black swan is not quite so bound by rules, and she's almost seen as the white swan's dark sister. So they're both, black and white swans, still talk about grace. They talk about knowing who you are. They talk about, despite your perceived faults and flaws, because let's be honest, swans are beautiful and graceful on the water, but they know that they're a little bit awkward when they're walking around on land. So they're a bit self-conscious of things like that. No one notices because all they see is the beauty. But the black swan is more, in my world, you don't have to agree with this, but to me, she's more like the dark sister who's reminding you to tap into your true essence, your true self, your shadow self. And white swan, she's not someone who pretends or puts on a face or anything like that, or she doesn't sell herself short or anything like that. But black swan says, you know what, people just don't. They want to know the truth. They want to know who you are. They want to know what makes you happy. They want to know what makes you angry. So black swan is encouraging you really to, in an honourable way. You've got a lot of stuff on your mind because, again, birds are all about the air element and mind and communication and self-expression, all those sorts of things. But the black swan is asking you to tap into how that bruised part of yourself, that darker soul part of your soul that you may up until now be trying to suppress or ignore or push down, that feeling, that part of you that's saying, like, I'm worthy of more, I'm not being noticed, all those sorts of things. And the black swan is encouraging you to find that voice, to not be revengeful or nasty or horrible or anything like that, but to really own who you are and to express that and to say, this isn't, you've all got the wrong idea. This is not who I am at all, or whatever it is. Does that make sense? And the fact that she had 5 little signets with her suggests that maybe there's been 5 events in your life, or 5 times in your life, or 5 layers to this for you that, that has got you to this point, 5 similar experiences or 5 memories that really weigh you down. Because those little 5 babies, if you like, can be like little record keepers or a little record of your history and or you're going to be given 5 opportunities to change your perception of yourself so that others can change their perception of you as well. 5 helpful tips, and maybe this is just one of them. But I believe the swans will be with you for a little while. As they grow, you'll learn things about yourself. You'll see colours come through that you didn't know were going to come through. You might see characteristics and qualities and traits, but just understand the swan is about self-love. It's about self-respect. It's about grace. It's about knowing that as a woman you're powerful and strong and beautiful, and you've got every right to express that in any way you want, as long as you don't bring harm to anyone else. And that's what black swan says. I hope that's helpful. I feel better for telling you. I don't even know if it's relevant. Oh, gosh, this is so cool. Black cockatoos. They're wonderful. Carmen Moores, a flock of black cockatoos. Do you remember what colour their tail was? Like, because they're black cockatoos, there's the red tail black cockatoos, there's the yellow tail black cockatoos, and in some parts of Australia we have the white tail black cockatoos. So if you could just try and remember what colour the tail might have been. Black cockatoo generically speaks about messages from the void. Black cockatoo to me is one of the messengers that come from that place where spirit lives. It's that space in the universe that is known to be unknowable. I know that sounds a bit of a contradiction, but it's known to be unknowable. It's where all the things that happen that we can't put words to or explain, that's where those experiences spring from. So an unexpected death, an unexpected passing, why did that happen? Like, where did that come from? Like, why is it always the good people? There is a questions that we'll never ever have the answers to. And I believe the black cockatoo brings these thoughts in from the void with the explanation, no one can possibly answer these questions. Only you can find the answers to these things that are happening, or these things that you've experienced. So I believe, Carmen, that so it's a yellow tail, brilliant. So this suggests to me that There's a grandfather in spirit who's helping you right now. There's a grandfather or a masculine energy that is very much the grandfatherly type. He may have been your dad, he may have been a brother, he may have been an uncle, but he had that really caring, earthy, caring, masculine, nurturing energy that you'd want in a grandfather. And he's helping you to find your ways, helping you to navigate the earthly path right now. If it was a red tail, I would have suggested grandmother. I would have suggested more about dreaming. I would have talking about your own inner journey. But this is more of a physical journey, and I just feel that maybe the black cockatoos come through to help you find truth in the understanding that one day you may get a better idea of why these things have been happening, but today there's no answer because it's known to be unknowable, and it's going to remain that way until spirit changes its mind. So I hope that helps. Okay. Tonia, a coyote walked past Lynn's house. I mean, how freaky would that be? I would have loved that. And I know over where you are. Oh, and you're in the city, so that's even weirder. On the sidewalk of all places. Okay, so I believe. So hang on, I've just got to read it properly. Because I've got my eyes really blurry today. So a while back, a coyote walked past my home on the sidewalk. I live in the city. It stopped, turned around, and went back to the way it had come from. As I looked out the window, it was amazing. So your feeling was positive. You had a really wonderful feeling, that sense of excitement. You had that, wow, that happened for me. And you have to believe, Lynn, that when these experiences happen, they are for you, because it looked at you, turned around, and went back the way it came. Its job had been fulfilled. Like, it walked past, and goodness only knows how many times it walked past in the hope that you would see it. So here you are, because you're meant to, right? So here you are, you saw it, and it's happy, and it's left. The fact that it's in the city, it's an unusual situation. Spirit really went out of their way to get this message to you right now, and no one else obviously had much to think about it or see, because it didn't hit the news. There was nothing like that, obviously. So it's a personal experience just for you. When I hear of coyote, we've got these amazing, beautiful, wonderful friends who live in Canada, and when we're over there, they've got this big pack of dogs. They're pet dogs, and the dogs went crazy one night and ran off and barking, and they were like, oh, they've gone to chase the coyotes. And I had this image in my mind of a pack of coyotes being like a bunch of naughty boys, up to mischief. So they can be like, the coyote can be saying, I think you're not being. Coyote can suggest that there's you need to be a bit more responsible. Maybe the coyote was saying, stop biting your tail so much. Like, like there's something that needs to be fixed here. There's something that you need to address, and it might not be you personally. It might be someone within the family. It might be someone, because remembering, coyotes live in a pack. They're family groups, so you got to know that. Well, I'm just looking more at canine qualities. So here you have an animal that's known to get up to mischief. It's known to steal things. It's known to, gosh, they get up to so much mischief, as you know. But it's also a trickster. So it's wanting you to move forward by acknowledging your habit of maybe biting your own tail a little bit. So it's asking you to address your behavior, your actions, your decisions that you've been making. This is not negative. This is just saying there might be something you've overlooked. Maybe there's something that you've not taken seriously. Maybe there's something that really is important that you're assuming is just a joke. Or does that make sense? So just listen to what the coyote's message might be in that regard. It is about family. It's about personal stuff. It's about emotions, because it's a mammal. It's not about thinking or process. It's not about jobs or career. It's about personal. It's about family. It's about the sense of clarity that's apparently not showing itself in your home right now. But it's a wonderful sign. It's a sign of new beginnings, because the trickster spirit allows you to open doors by not even realizing you need to shut one. So it's a powerful message for moving forward and healing. So what about the fox, says Janelle de Monk. What does the fox mean? I love Tonia's thumbs are up. She loves foxes too. Okay, so in my world, Janelle, the fox, I don't know if you've ever read the tarot before, but in my world, the fox is the embodiment of the magician card. And the magician card in tarot essentially says lots of things, but the essential message is everything you require is there. Everything to start this next chapter of your life is there. all you need to do is look at it carefully and realize that all these different elements that you've got prepared in front of you, they were just all brought together and given a bit of a mix up. It would create something wonderful, an opportunity, but the fox, like the coyote, can be a bit of a trickster, can be a bit sneaky at times, and it's asking you to look at how maybe you're blocking your own vision to see what's actually being offered to you. I'm also going to say this, Janelle, knowing a bit about your history, because I've known Janelle, everyone, for quite a long time. And so fox can represent a male in spirit. It can. And the hare, if you like, can represent who is the fox's best friend. But because they love each other very much, the fox and the hare can represent a female in spirit. So, and together, when you see them together, often people see a fox and a hare on the side of the road, or maybe not together, but maybe up the road from one another, but on the same trip, the same night, and the same time, in the same hour. I often say that's probably your mum and dad in spirit, just making sure everything's okay. But in this situation, I'm just going to say it's a male in spirit who's wanting you to follow their lead. They're just like they slipped into another room and you can't find the door. That's how it feels like when you've lost someone. But they're chatting through the wall. They're chatting through the door. And I believe they are. I believe you're getting signs and affirmations that this loved one in spirit is watching this male who's wanting you to follow them. Not follow them to the afterworld, but follow them because they're offering you guidance. They're wanting you to listen to the whispered dreams that you're getting, or the little signs that you're being shown. They're trying to help you heal. They're trying to help you find happiness and trying to help you find your way out of this chapter of your life, which could be a little bit overwhelming because foxes are a nocturnal animal. So it could be a time of darkness. The sun might be just on the horizon, but it hasn't cracked through over the mountains yet. So we've still got a bit of time ahead of us to find the clarity. But the fox energy is really wanting you to tap into yourself, look at yourself, look and say, I've got resources. I'm actually quite equipped to deal with this. I've just never been here before. And this is all new to me. And the fox is saying, yes, but I'm here and I understand and I'm going to walk with you. So just please take that on board and just know that this is, if I didn't know about your history, I would have said all that anyway, okay? So just understand that this is terribly important. You pay attention. And when you had that fox encounter, ask yourself, how was it moving? Did it see you straight away? Did it act like as if it knew you were there but was ignoring you? How did you feel? And it's like it's wanting you to follow. And they're magical, enchanting, beautiful, intelligent, stunning animals. So what a wonderful animal to have to show you that this is all going to be okay. How do you feel about all that, Tonia? As a psychic medium, I'm sure you've had lots of chats like this with people who have had signs given to them, and it's about being. I feel very blessed to be able to pass a message like that on. I get a bit teary thinking about it. Yeah.
Beautiful and so relevant.
I said he knew you were there and he saw you. I'm just going to ditto everything I just said. I would truly believe you're being shown the way. You're being shown the way out of the darkness. You're being shown light and clarity, and also being offered the tools to rebuild better than strong you were before, because you've now got this as experience you didn't have before. So let's use it in a wonderful way to bring light to other people. That's how I live. Well, I try to anyway. Okay, who's next then, Tonia?
Wow, we need.
Oh, I'd love that.
If
you could send me the video. Yeah, I've just said she filmed the fox. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. So sorry, Tonia.
Well, I had to move today. Well, I wasn't going to, but I've got swallows that have nested in above where I normally record, and they're really loud, really loud. So I had to relocate to here because I was like,
yes.
They're so loud that you can't them up.
I wouldn't have been able to hear you. Yeah, it's the little babies. So look, Trudy and I, we've got this little saying, and it's sort of mirrored in my Oracle of the Innocent Heart that I wrote about it in the Oracle of the Innocent Heart. The swallow to me is like an anchor to home. When you see a swallow, you know that there's wonderful things happening there. You know that there's magic. You know there's love. You know that there's truth. You know there's honesty. And where a swallow nests, you know that's going to be it's a wonderful home. You know, it's a good home. You know, it's a love-filled home. So when Trude and I are looking for a place to live, or you know, when we're looking for a new home, we always look for the swallows, because where a swallow circles is where I want my home to be. That's our motto. So we know that the swallow is a wonderful sign. They're called welcome swallows. Some of them are called welcome swallows because they welcome the sailors home from the ocean trips. You know, they've been away for months and months and months, and the first thing they see to know that they're close to home and their loved ones is a swallow. The swallows will come out right out over the ocean to meet them, and that's a good sign. If you look closely at a swallow, they look like a little anchor. So they look like an anchor shape to them. And when you see them swirling around, Tonia, what they're doing is they're making sure that any doubt or confusion or anything that's negative can't settle. It's being stirred up all the time. Because when they're flying around, that little anchor-like energy is grabbing it, and so it can't settle, so it can never settle. So it might be that you're going through transition and change. We know you've had some stuff going on with Facebook and stuff. So, you know, it's about just let that be. Don't get invested. It's all being taken care of. Don't let it get in. Don't let it settle. Don't let that doubt and that worry settle and disturb your vision. But your home is changing. There's an energy that's shifting. There's something coming. There's someone coming home, perhaps. There's a message coming from someone you've not heard of in a long, long time. There's something new on the horizon, a new beginning, a new birth. There's something wonderful about to happen. And the swallow is preparing everyone in the home for that, because that's the little babies. It's also you stepping out into the world, but again, for, you know, in a different way, on a different level, knowing the home and the family are going to be kept safe. Certainly now that you've got the little swallow watchdogs there, making sure that no negative energy can take root. You know, it's wonderful. I think that's a really good sign that everything's going to be fine. But your house is now a home for sure. It's been marked as a home, and whatever you've been doing there, keep it up.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So that's exhausting. I'm exhausted after that. Was a great run. Is there any new ones that haven't come up on my message board here that you're aware of?
No, not yet. Trudy's shared the link for people if they want to connect and have a reading with Scott to be able to get your animals around you. Yep,
that'd be awesome. So yeah, that's all on the Animal Dreaming website there, and also the Animal Dreaming Publishing website. It's on there as well. Yes, well, I'll share a little story, if you like. One of our animal encounters lately, we had a python skin. We found a python skin in one of the carports we've got here, and we're like, that's interesting. So it was wrapped around a trolley that was there, and it obviously had used the trolley as a leverage to get the skin off. And then the next day, we're wondering, look, so we need to shed and release something. There's something, you know, that we need to acknowledge. This is the old skin, so it's something we need to let go. Knowing that python can represent, you know, time of worry and confusion. And then the next day I found the python itself, and so that was like conclusion. So I knew that we'd been told, and we had dealt with a few things that day, which was quite interesting. We dealt with a few things, and the python came to prove that it's all closed. It's over now. You've dealt with it well. Everything's back to normal, and it was quite a good one. It was nearly 2 meters long. It was just because it just shed its skin too. It just sloughed, so it was all quite aggressive and a little bit excitable. And anyway, but that we had that happen, and we went on a little road trip the other week for Oscar's birthday, and we were driving along, and a wild pig literally ran across the road. A piglet, a young baby pig, that you could tell wasn't a domestic one, but he was only new. He was only a baby, and he sort of did this trot, this confident little trot, like it was like he wasn't like scurrying, he wasn't taking his time. It was just a confident little trot across the road, and he disappeared into the undergrowth. And we just knew at that point that Trude's mum was with us, because it was a little black and white pig, mainly black, and we just knew that the grandmothers were watching, and it was just beautiful, because we took that as a sign that Trude's mum had come to wish Oscar a birthday, like happy birthday. So it was lovely. These are all the things, people, we need to take notice of. Those spontaneous, seemingly random experiences. It's very important that when you have those encounters, ask yourself, what was I just thinking about prior to that encounter? What was I thinking about? What was I pondering? What's on my forefront of my mind right now? So back to Janelle, she might have been thinking about that loved one in spirit. She might have been asking him, show me a sign, like, just let me know you're safe. And then a fox is sitting right there. And you have to let yourself believe that that's what the natural world is wanting you to believe. Like, the first gut feeling is always right. And if you can follow those patterns, and maybe next time when Janelle's out and she sees another fox, she can check in on herself and ask, was I just thinking about him again? And sure enough, she will have been, or something related to him. And it's a sign that that animal now represents a connection to the spirit world. Or like the python for me represents something that needs to be addressed, that could make you feel as if you're a bit overwhelmed, but like can't breathe properly, sort of anxious. Anxiety is a big sign that python energy is around, but it's wanting you to tap into it and to feel it and to know what needs to be done. So when you have an animal experience, just know that there's a message that comes with it, or it's spirit's way of trying to answer an issue that's plaguing your mind right now. Okay, so Margaret, you've written, do you know about spiders? Yeah, I do know a little bit about spiders. And the huntsman particularly is, so it's in the room where you work from. So huntsman is, like, you think, why is it called a huntsman? Like, why is it called that? Because like a hunter, he gets on his horse and he gallops out into the forest to catch a deer or something. I don't know what hunters do, because I'm not one. But they go out into the forest to gather food, or to catch something to bring it home to feed their family, and that's what the hunting spiders do. The huntsman doesn't. He'll have a home base, like behind a picture or behind the couch or something, and he might have a little messy little nest there that he comes back to at night, or in the morning. But he's a marauding spider. He'll go out and he'll just walk along and find something and grab it and eat it. If you want to ask yourself, what message is that for me, though? It's like the spirit is saying to you, okay, so here you are in the comfort of your own workspace. You're there doing so you call it work. So it's not the room that you work from. So you're not saying you're not saying it's a creative space. It's a place you work from. So maybe when you're in that state of work, your brain or your mind is wandering to maybe dreams and aspirations that you'd like to achieve one day. The hunting spider says, let's just stop doing that. We're wasting time. Let's just get up and take ourselves out into the world, very much like the fool in tarot, like with the little rucksack on. Let's go out into the world and explore and see what's there and see what's available to us. Let's make mistakes and let's figure things out as we go. But the hunting spider is like, let's get out, let's start exploring possibilities. Let's go out and see what, if I'm going to build this web of a world for myself, I've got to go out and find the tools that are going to create the foundation first. Does that make sense? And that's what the hunting spiders are wanting you to do. So huntsman, get on your horse, go for a gallop and see what you find, and allow yourself to get lost in the forest, and allow yourself to get lost there so that you can find your own way out, and you can learn from your experience as you do so. It'll make you a stronger and healthier and happier person than sitting in your workspace watching the spider and wondering what are you to do. Okay, who do we have?
That's got a good question. I can't bring it up for some reason.
Oh, yes, that last bit's very interesting. Do animals reincarnate, and do they cross over also to the spirit world? Well, look, you know what? There's lots of different theories out there, but I truly 100% honestly believe that I've seen animals at work. I've seen them show emotions. I know they're sentient beings just like you and I do believe that they experience all the things that we experience, but they just perceive them in different ways. Why on earth would we be given a place to go after death but not animals? Why on earth would we be allowed to journey to another place and cross over to a spirit world when they're not? It makes no sense to me. We are mammals. We are no different to gorillas and orangutans, and we're no different to these animals. We're just a little bit more predatory, and we take advantage, and we're opportunistic. All right, so we're cleverer in that regard because animals trust that the world around them will provide. We go out and make sure that it gives us what we want, basically. So Yes, I strongly and truly 100% believe that animals cross over. They go to the same place we go to. We'll meet them there. I've seen Lisa Williams, the psychic medium, on stage many times say, you had a little dog, the little dog's here, and the dog says, woof, woof, hi. So she refers to animals that we've had in the physical world, in the spirit world, with our loved ones. She refers to that all the time. Who am I to go and argue with Lisa Williams as a daughter? But I can tell my experiences are very similar. I know there's a place they go to. It's the same place we go to, and we can see them there, we meet them there. But because we're there for different reasons, our paths may not cross as often as they would have done in the physical world, because we're there to do the things that we do when we've passed away. We're there we're not there to visit zoos or wildlife sanctuaries. We're there to figure out what we need to do next and how we can become a better person that time around. Animals are no different. Oh, treat. Little animals. So I strongly and 100% believe that, yes, they do cross over, and that and there was the other part of the question, do they cross over? Do they reincarnate? Well, of course they do. I believe they do. Many a time I've had people say that they were they lost their beautiful dog. They've had this dog for many, many years, and then they'll choose to get another dog, and the dog does exactly the same things that the other dog did. Whether that dog is the spirit of the other dog reincarnated, or whether that new dog is being guided by the older dog's spirit, who knows? There's too many stories that prove that this is. And I'm just not arrogant enough to say that animals don't. So I would feel a little bit like I was betraying them if I said nah. Because it makes no sense to me to say no. Of course they do. They're the same as us. Yes, brilliant. And yeah, Marianne saying animals and pets been coming to her in her readings too. So cool. And it's proof that there is something else going on out there that's not just all about us. Humans are just wonderful that they think everything is about us, but it's not. We're just a tiny snippet of what's going on out there. And animals have been around a lot longer than we have, let's be honest. So anyway, that's just me. My rant's over. And I think Trude, what she's done there is she's listed some of the animal experiences that we've had lately. So that's a little coded reading right there. We've had quite a lot lately. We've had a lot. And Trude particularly, she's had quite a lot of animals, dreams of animals turning up in dreams and showing themselves to be expressing certain things. It's been a powerful time for us as a family. So I love it that she's acknowledged them by doing that. Okay, I'm having trouble reading those white comments over this side, Tonia.
Let me see.
I love it when you put I love that. And now I can see that. That's perfect. Oh,
it's working now. I couldn't get it to work before.
Yeah. I'm not the animal king. That's all I'm good at, Becca. Seriously. I just know animals, but ask me to fix your car and I'm screwed. So thank God I'm the animal king, because I'm useless at pretty much everything else. I love you too. That's nice of you to say that. It's lucky I know my animals, because I don't know what I would do otherwise.
We can't be good at everything, Scott.
Seriously, at least I'm good at one thing. Like, you find people who are multi-talented who thrive in pretty much any situation they're put into. They just make me sick, those sort of people. I'm not jealous at all, or resentful. Wow. A strange dream, Karen says. A strange dream where she looked down and she was wearing a complete bird skeleton like RA. What does that RA mean? I don't know. Is that code for something? Is that short?
It would be code for something, but we don't know what that is.
Ra. Oh, the sun god Ra, perhaps. It's Ra. Like the sun god Ra, perhaps. So if that is Ra who you're referring to, then a lot of the old ancient cultures saw the winged, like the eagle, as being like the embodiment of the creator, because the wings are able to see higher places. Associated with the eagles, particularly, are associated with the sun, because they flew so close to the sun, and they are associated. The eagle energy is very closely associated with the sun gods or the sun lords, and Ra is one of those energies that the eagle is related to energetically. You might even know that Horus, the Egyptian god that showed himself as he was depicted as having a hawk's head. His symbol is the all-seeing eye. So it's about that vision, the vision that cuts through pretense and the stories we tell ourselves, and when we try and justify something. Hawk and eagle and anything associated, they can see through all that crap. They can see exactly what's going on. So the fact that you're wearing a complete bird skeleton and it reminded you of Ra, then I would suggest that this is you knowing you've seen something, you know what the truth is. You've got to get to the bones of the matter. You've got to get to the core of it and speak the truth. That you know that you've observed something. This dream was confirming something that you already knew to be true. It was confirming a gut feeling that you had, and you're showing it was you yourself. Your dream self is showing you. Your dream self is showing your physical self, your conscious self, the truth in what you observed. Okay, so just trust it, and just trust that this is a sign that the spirits are really wanting you to act on this realization, this observation, this revealing of truth. Does that make sense? Because you've seen it and you know it's true, and your body would have reacted in a certain way to prove that your gut feeling, your reaction was right. Does that make sense? So let me know how that feels, because I truly believe that it's you just confirming to yourself that this is my God, I was right. Yeah. And now what to do with that? Get to the truth, get to the bones of the matter. Okay. Isabella, how are you going? Isabella's like me. Isabella has a fox spirit that walks with her. She always checks when I see her. Do you see my spirit animal? Of course I do. It's your fox. It's right there. Yeah. So during you were giving a meditation session yesterday, and say that I had a client I was giving a meditation session to yesterday say that his animal spirit come to him telling him what to be grateful for, and he said it was a bear. What do you think? What do I think, that he saw a bear? Why couldn't he have seen the bear? I'd say yes, he definitely saw a bear. In my world, I would ask, so he's being asked to tell him or to acknowledge what he's grateful for. In my world, bear energy can also represent a father figure in spirit, a fatherly figure, like a grandfatherly figure, but like we were saying earlier, but like a father figure. The papa bear energy can also represent a mother in spirit who played double roles as the mother and the father, so she might have been a bit more hands-on, a little bit more rough and tumble, a little bit more masculine. But either way, it's a masculine energy from spirit just saying, I haven't heard from you in a little while. Then maybe there's been an inheritance or something and he's not acknowledged it. He's to say what it's about, but someone in spirit's just wanting him to show a little bit more gratitude, which I think is wonderful. And there's enough for that to go around for everyone, I believe. I think we all could feel a little bit more gratitude right now. Perfect.
Awesome.
Let's see.
We've had a good mix today. Wow.
You sound like you've got a very sore throat, Todd. You're all crackly.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Never mind. We're doing all right. This has been a great show. I really enjoyed this session. Okay, so Beck Campbell, shut up. No, you shut up. Those moose, the moose in Brother Bear. No, you shut up. All right, so the other thing, drop the bundle. We're both vanished from the...
Time is up. It's funny. So I don't know whether it looks like you've frozen to me, but I think I've frozen to you. So who knows? Let's get any feedback from anyone. It's just
I'm back. I'm back. That's so good. I was panicking there for a while. What do I do? Thank you for being patient, everyone. I was going to say that it's also, besides looking at the animals and acknowledging the animals that you see on a regular basis, like random experiences, like you be in an aeroplane and a mozzie's on your arm, like those sort of random experiences, that's important to acknowledge all those, like I said before. But it's also good to acknowledge animals that you don't feel comfortable with or animals that you're afraid of. And it's really important that we look at the why and not blame the animal, because the animal is just a messenger and it's wanting you to acknowledge maybe a part of yourself that you're suppressing or you've overlooked or you don't believe is worthy of a voice. So those animals that you're afraid of, everyone, they're called your shadow totems, and they represent the shadow part of yourself that you might not be proud of. They can represent those memories or those experiences that you've had that dampen your soul. In all those experiences and all those encounters and all those, there's a light, there's a truth there. There's something that made you a richer and better person. And the shadow animals are just wanting you to tap into that. They're wanting you to acknowledge, you know, your flaws or insecurities or the things that have happened to you in the past, and to not shun them and to turn them into something magical and gold. As my friend Maria Alita says, it's about turning shit into sunshine. So these animals are acknowledging those parts of yourself that you're not happy with, or those experiences that you've had that are, you know, that just make you feel down or sad or whatever. And they're asking you to look at them truly and to see the beauty in them, like to see the lessons that came from them. And, you know, I often think back at some of the things I've gone through, and if you really allowed yourself, you could sit and dwell on those experiences and those memories and feel just total sadness. But then I think, God, if that hadn't have happened though, like if there's this one really dark time in my life, and if I hadn't have gone through that, I wouldn't have met Trudy. You know, I wouldn't have kids. I wouldn't have my beautiful kids now. So out of that darkness, light emerges. And that's what these animals are all about. They're asking you to acknowledge the darkness, acknowledge the things that you don't are happy with, all those things that you're a little bit afraid of, and acknowledge them and embrace them, because out of that darkness, light only has to emerge. Only light can emerge. That's all, because it's a learning and a healing experience, and that's what those animals are about. So please really take notice of those animals, because they're just as important as the animals that you love and that you would love to have around you at all times. So the spiders, the snakes, the sharks, animals you think, oh no, I don't like them. There's a reason why you don't, and they're stalking you because they want you to listen to their message, and they want you to understand the beauty that they carry and how you can just transform your whole view of the world. And heal and grow and become stronger for those experiences. Okay, Jane Buick, you said you had a little gecko on the window the other night, and it's so beautiful because the gecko, we have them here and they laugh. They've got this chuckling sound, and they always seem to laugh when you're about to go to sleep or you're just in that in-between of waking up in the morning. Anyways, they've got a beautiful little sound, and when you see them or hear them, you know that luck is on your side. To see geckos, particularly in your bedroom ceiling, it's a sign of luck. It's a sign of opportunity that's coming, something that's going to shift and change. I love the fact that geckos have a translucent sort of appearance to them. They have this weird, almost see-through feeling about them. And when and it caught and ate a moth. Well, this is very interesting. So I'll talk about that in a sec too. But the gecko, for me, can also represent lizards in general, like reptiles, lizards, all speak about the dream, listen to your dreams, listen to your ambitions, listening to those things that, you know, the guidance that you're giving yourself when you're daydreaming, like the lessons that you're working through when you're having those pondering moments. Gecko, though, speaks about childhood memories. They speak about aspirations and dreams that we might have put to sleep or put on the shelf that we might have had as a kid. Luck is on your side. There's an opportunity to bring some of them to fruition, if you like. The fact that it ate a moth, when you think about moths, they come in at night and they fly around your light bulb. And there's a long story that they shared with me once, the moth, but in a nutshell, it's about that desire to return to the light. It's like the moth doesn't really know what its purpose is. So its whole drive is to return to the source to find out what its purpose is. Back to the source of life, if you like, back to the light. And so to have it eat a moth is saying that there's clarity, that this animal comes with clarity, this animal comes with a greater understanding. It's wanting you to tap into your dreams that you might have had as a kid or a younger person that you've had to put on the shelf because of responsibility or circumstance. Now's the time to start bringing them back out again. And the clarity, the path that we illuminated to make sure that those things can come to fruition. I would love to know how you pan out with that, because that's my absolute gut feeling when it comes to interpreting that experience for you. Wow. Nick. Nick, I love you, Nick. I've been watching you shine with all your products and the messages you've been sharing with people on the different radio platforms that I've seen you being so proud of you. He's a very dear and beautiful man, is our Nick. I call him Sir Nicholas. He's just a beautiful man. He said, sometimes we can't communicate with people or things on earth, and we go to the animals and the message they bring to connect to our soul, to guide us back to live in the now. Exactly, Nick. Like I've got a really beautiful family. I'm very blessed to have my kids and Trude, and I love them all very much. And sometimes I think I give them the shits because, you know, I'm so in their face about things sometimes because I just want them to shine. I want them to be wonderful. But sometimes I think I've got to work this out for myself. I can't go to them all the time with questions or concerns or worry. And I'll wait for the animals to bring me the message, the answers. I wait for them. So, Nick, you're 100% right. The animals, their soul, in my world too, their sole purpose is to bring us back to our center, our truth, back to Mother Earth. They're there to bring us back to that place of origin and that place of truth and integrity. And I stuff up a lot, but I do make it. I'm trying my hardest. I'm endeavoring to live in accordance with those lessons. So I really think that's a beautiful thing to say there, Nick. And if I was you, I'd be cutting and pasting that and putting it somewhere as a little affirmation for something down the track, because that is very powerful. Very proud of you. It's a wonderful. And thank you for that reminder, because it really resonates well.
Beautiful.
I know. He's a beautiful man. We love him, don't we, Tonia?
Yeah. His work's amazing. His books are great. I love them. And his cards.
Yeah. These little affirmation cards, they're so... Nick, we gifted a set to a friend of ours who's struggling a little bit at the moment, and she said that the messages were so beautiful and the art she just loved, because she knows Rosie quite well, and she just thought the messages were so beautiful. So I just want you to know that they're helping someone as we speak get through a very difficult patch in their life, and we felt that your cards were the best choice for that friend. Wonderful stuff. So Karen McAllister, you had last week, you had like 15 random flies in the bathroom at night. We waited to see if they returned the next night, thinking we had something that had died in the roof and they were coming in through the exhaust fan, but alas, they didn't return. So when we have flies that just congregate in little groups like that in our family, we know it's time to smudge. We know it's time to smudge. We know it's time to acknowledge something and let it go, and to cleanse our space. So whether they're in the bathroom or the kitchen, we know that, or wherever, we know that it's their house is in need for a smudge. And you think about the bathroom, we go there to wash off the day. We wash, before we go to bed perhaps, or when you wake up in the morning, have a shower to wash off the night before, the memories and the feelings of the day before. And we intentionally let those worries and feelings go with the water down the drain, out to be, returned to Mother Earth in one form or another, and to be purified so that we can drink it again in the future or something. There's a cycle there. And the bathroom is that place of expulsion. We go to the bathroom, and we call the bathroom here in Australia, where you have the bath. Overseas, the bathroom could very well be the toilet or the lavatory. So, think about that, and think about why you would go to that room, and think about the things that have been happening in your life lately, and ask yourself, what is bothering us as a family? Because if there's 5 flies, there's probably 5 different situations or 5 different people who are being affected by these old memories or these old experiences that are returning or revisiting. I would smudge and just surrender the control of the hows and the whys and the whats to spirit, and say, look, we'll do. We won't argue, but we're passing this over to you with the smudging to let them deal with it. And that's why they didn't come back, because it was enough to let you. It's stuck in your memory. It's 15, not 5. So it's so you've got enough there to. The spirits have said, okay, they've seen enough. Let's see if they are savvy enough to act on it. So well done and listening, and also thanks for checking in today so I could explain that to you. I hope that helps.
Awesome.
Well,
some amazing animals today. And can you believe we're an hour and 10 so fast? How fast has that gone?
Oh. I was just going to say, I think I need a stiff drink and a lie down.
You've done very well. Loved it.
So Yeah, so if anyone does want to touch base to find out what other animals they might have with them, or what animals, like, simply on the website there, you can book a reading or whatever. But just I'll be back on in a couple of weeks. Save those encounters up, write them, keep a little journal of those encounters so we can share them here next time, because I really enjoy that interpretation. I find it very exciting. I love the fact that the animals are speaking to so many people, and that people aren't brushing them off as just random experiences anymore. I think it's very important that we remember this old way, and that we see as like something from the past, but this is actually it's not. It's about moving into the future, and the animals are wanting to support that journey with us. They've got a few lessons that they're wanting us to go through. There's like, we're all on a time of transition and change at the moment, so we all have to adapt. We all have to think of new ways of doing things, and the animals they're taking full advantage of people being in lockdown. They're figuring out, they're adapting and changing as well, and they're wanting us to follow suit. So yeah, keep in touch. If you have any animal encounters, keep a note. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, and in between, send us an email or book in for a reading. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, Isabella's was there. She highly recommends Scott's reading. So do I. Reading Scott is amazing. So if you feel inspired, jump on board and book a reading. He's awesome. So thank you.
That'd be wonderful. And also on the website. Sorry? On the website too.
Sorry.
That's all right. On the website too, if you do, because we didn't get a chance to chat about the conference, or the writers' conference. It's all we have on the website, and also on Instagram, and in the stories there. There's frequently asked questions. We've had a few people emailing saying, "I've got a few questions. I've got a few things I just want to have answered." That's all there. On there, but just flick us an email if you have any questions about the conference. I know Tonia's so excited about the conference. We're all looking forward to it in May next year up here on the Gold Coast. It's going to be wonderful. We're all going to come away richer for the experience, if not just for sharing 3 wonderful days with a group of wonderful people. It's going to be a wonderful experience.
Sure. Yeah. All right, we better wrap. Thank you, everybody.
I also just want to say too, I've had one of the sorry, Tonia. One of the questions people have been asking about the conference is, with all this uncertainty about lockdown and stuff, even if the COVID comes back and we all get locked down again, and the conference is still going to go ahead, we're going to adapt it to an online platform. And if we can't do it in person, it's still going to go ahead. So please, everyone who's worrying about booking into the conference, don't be afraid. It's still going to happen one way or another. Maria's on board with that. We're all going to adapt, and we'll create a whole wonderful platform that we hope will be temporary, so we can go back to doing it physically together in the future. But it's still going to go ahead, so don't panic. Anyway, thanks everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for bearing with my bad connection again today. I'm going to get stuff by Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, when I believe Rosie Shaloub's coming on.
I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to that. She sounds amazing. I haven't met her before, so I'm very excited.
And her chocolate lovers message cards, which are going off in Europe. Like, so how exciting is that? All right, so we'll chat soon. Thanks heaps, guys, and thank you, Tonia, for a wonderful session. I've really enjoyed it, and I feel pumped up and empowered, and knowing that everyone out there got a message, so I'm really excited. So thank you very much. Speak to you all soon. Bye.